What's up guys, Steph here, and welcome to my very first edition of Serious Sunday. And it's not Sunday, I know it's not, it's potentially Thursday when you're watching this, but I figured if I'm gonna have to make a video like this, I might as well make it part of my new series called Serious Sundays, which I haven't started yet, but let's start it now. This episode is gonna be about Logan Paul. I will be 100% honest and say that I wasn't gonna say anything about everything that's going on, only because I feel like it's almost like politics where you just really don't talk about it and, you know, you see how everything plays out. But a lot of you guys have been commenting and messaging me about this situation, so I thought I would make a video and talk about it with you guys. Before we start, I just want to say, one, this video is specifically just my opinion, and if you watch this video and then decide that you don't like me because of it, then by all means that is up to you, that is your choice. I would hope that people wouldn't judge me because of my opinion. I know that that sounds weird, but this is my opinion on one small thing in the world, and you know, whether you agree or disagree, hopefully, I don't know, hopefully you just appreciate me giving you my honest opinion. And I will be 100% honest with you guys because that's how I've always been, and I don't plan on changing that now. The second disclaimer I'm gonna give is that I am a fan of Logan Paul. You guys know this if you watch a lot of my videos. I like Logan Paul. I watch his videos. I watched him on Vine. I started watching him on YouTube last year at some point. And as an adult, I like his content. I think it's funny. I think it's entertaining. Again, I am an adult. That does come into play here, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as to why it comes into play. So for those of you who don't know, very quick synopsis, Logan Paul posted a video of, I don't even know when it was, a couple days ago, and he is in Japan right now. He went to some forest, I don't know what the Japanese name is, but basically the nickname of this forest is Suicide Forest. It's where, the reason it's called that is because it has a reputation of people going to the forest and committing suicide there. It's a giant forest on the base of Mount Fuji. Now, I have never even heard of this forest until I saw it in Logan Paul's video, but he basically filmed this video of them going in, they were gonna camp there, and they happened to run into a dead body, and with terrible judgment, Logan Paul decided to film it and put the video out there. Okay, that's basically what happened. The day after he did that, of course, everyone, it was a very intense video, and there was a lot of people talking about it. He ended up taking it down. He ended up tweeting an apology, and then he ended up making a video apology. So that's like the gist of what happened. Okay, if you want to know more about it, you could probably just search the internet, and I'm sure there's like articles. I know BuzzFeed has written articles. It's a big deal. There's a lot of people talking about it. It's made news, like mainstream news. It's out there. It's kind of like when there was the PewDiePie situation, that's what's going on. So a lot of you guys want to know, what are my thoughts? Actually, I don't even know. Some of you guys asked me what my thoughts are. Some of you guys told me, oh, so you don't like him anymore, right? And I wanted to talk about that with you guys. And again, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys because that's all I can be. Now, when I saw the video, I saw that video when he uploaded it that day, and I was 100% taken back. First, I thought it was a joke because the thumbnail, he had this thumbnail that actually had the guy in the thumbnail. So I thought it was a joke. And then as I was watching, I was like, oh, this is not a joke. This is actually real. And then when he was doing close-ups, he kind of did a close-up of the body. You could see the man's hands were purple. I was like, whoa. So I watched the video. Now, remember, I'm an adult, and I was surprised that he would post something like that. I was kind of like, whoa, I can't believe he posted something like that. It shocked me that he would post something like that. The video itself did not shock me. A couple things. I've never been touched by suicide. I don't have anybody around me that has taken their own life. It just is not something that I have dealt with. So I didn't relate to the video in that lens. I know a lot of people are talking about how it's triggering people. I can't say anything about that because for me personally, it didn't have any effect on me in that situation because again, it's not something that I've ever dealt with, either for myself or for anybody around me. And also, I have seen other videos on the internet that are much worse than this one. Again, I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm just saying that for me personally, I've seen videos that I probably shouldn't have seen that have it different. It's different. And gosh, even when I was younger, I saw a video that I definitely should not have seen on the internet. And I remember walking downstairs to my dad, like in shock. Like, I think I was super pale. And he's like, what happened? And I told him that I watched it, and he got really mad at me. He was like, why would you watch it? And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea. And I will never forget that video. It's still in the back of my mind. And I think I was like 13 years old maybe when I saw that. So I've seen other videos that are worse. So for me, I was like kind of like, whoa, I can't believe he would post something like that. But it obviously didn't trigger me in any way because I'm an adult. And again, I am, when it comes to suicide, I'm not, I just haven't had any experiences that related to me that would trigger me in that sense. But the video was not good. I saw it and I cringed and I said, wow, I thought to myself, like, wow, I can't believe he did that. I can't believe he posted something, like, why would he do that? Like, it was not good, and it was very distasteful. I knew it was really bad judgment on his part, and, you know, that was that. And that was it. And then, you know, the uproar happened, and I was like, oh, wow, okay, so this is like a really big deal. I don't think I understood to how extreme it was going to get. Now, there's two sides, I feel like the black and white sides to this. There's the kids who will defend Logan Paul to the death. It doesn't matter what, he probably could honestly like rob a bank or probably kill somebody, and there's people who will still, and when I say people, I really mean the like little kids that support him. They will still support him, okay? So there's that side of it. I am not at all that side of it, okay? There's the other side of it who are like, they want to burn him at the stake. Like, yes, they have the fire and they're ready to go. And within that group of people, I feel like you can split it up into two different groups of people, right? You have the people who don't even know who Logan Paul is, have no idea, heard about this video, and just were completely disgusted and said, down with this guy, who is this guy? They just don't know anything about him. So they hear about this one thing that happened and they're like, yeah, that guy should be banned from the internet. And then you have the other group in that group of people that already hated Logan Paul, right? They already disliked him. They hate all of his content. They hate, and there could be different reasons for that. One, they probably could just think that the content is stupid, which some people do. That's a thing. They could be jealous because he did get very successful really fast. And there's people who obviously have worked years and years and years and still are not as big as he got. And then there's just people who don't like the guy, right? And those people who just don't like Logan Paul, it doesn't matter what Logan Paul does. He could donate $10 million to cure cancer and they still won't like the guy because, you know, that's just their opinion. That's their belief. And those people have been sitting here waiting for something to happen so they could just kick this guy to the ground. And this is their moment. So they're very excited. These people are like, yeah, he screwed up. We're about to, you know, get him off the internet. He should be stripped of everything and he should have no money, whatever it is that they want to say. I'm not in that group of people either. I'm kind of in the middle because here's the thing. Again, I'm a fan of Logan Paul. For me personally, this is the first time that I feel like Logan Paul has messed up like big time. Like this is a huge mistake. And again, I'm not saying that it was okay. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying this was a big mistake. And unfortunately for him, it's attracted a lot of attention and who knows, I don't know what the outcome of this is gonna be. But for me personally, for me morally, I believe in second chances. That's just me as a person. Anybody, it doesn't matter who it is. Like whether it's Logan Paul and he's super famous or it's a kid at my after school program. I believe in second chances. I believe in giving people the benefit of a doubt. That's how I am. That's how I am because I feel like that's how I would want people to treat me in that sense, right? Because we all make mistakes. And I think that's what I wanted to really go in depth about is that we all make mistakes. Now, our mistakes aren't usually out there for millions and millions of people to see. So it's a little bit different in that sense, but we all make mistakes. And when I look at a mistake, I look at what happened, but really what I look at is why did that happen and how do we learn from it and how do we make sure it doesn't happen again? You learn from your mistakes. That's a real thing, right? You learn from your mistakes. I think that's the main thing here is for me, this is his first big mistake. So for me personally, I'm going, man, I hope this kid learns from his mistake. I hope that he understands how badly he messed up. And I hope that this mistake sits in the back of his mind for the rest of his life. For everything that he does, he thinks back to that and goes, wait. Because I feel like mistakes are what gives you the life experience that make you make good decisions. Now for me, I'm 31 years old, and I would consider myself to have good judgment. I would consider myself to have good common sense. I've had a lot of experiences that have gotten me to that point, but I just feel like I'm fairly mature for my age. I know it might not seem like it because look at what I'm doing. I'm opening a bunch of toys, but in reality, it's something that I've always kind of strived towards. Even when I was younger, even when I was 18, I just started working. I'm responsible and I try to make really good decisions. But as I think most of you adults might know, you make mistakes along the way. And people keep saying, well, he's 22 years old, he's an adult, he's a man. Okay, I can think back to when I was 22 years old. I made a mistake once when I was 22 years old, and I'm not going to talk about what it actually was. But this mistake, which luckily for me did not blow up in my face, this mistake, if it had blown up in my face, could have cost me my job. It could have put me in jail. It could have just taken away my life and or somebody else's. And as a 22-year-old who usually has good judgment, I made this mistake. And again, I was really, really lucky that it didn't turn out worse than it did, but it wasn't good. And I 100% learned from it. I think about it all the time. My mind, whenever I'm doing something that resembles what I was doing when I made that mistake, my mind goes back to that and goes, no, don't put yourself in that situation again. So I 100% learned from my mistake. But I made that mistake, and I would have been really sad if people would have judged me for that mistake and judged me as an entire person and didn't give me that second chance. Now, it's up to whoever. You guys don't have to give anybody a second chance. It just depends on what type of person you are, and for me, that's just the type of person I am. So I've made mistakes when I was 22 years old, and I'm very lucky that they didn't blow up in my face, and I'm very lucky that I don't have 15 million people watching me on the internet, because that would have not have been good. It would have been really bad. I think that's what I take from this, that he made a mistake. Now, the second part of this is how does he respond to this mistake that he made? Now, I think there's two ways that he could have gone. There's the, oh crap, I made a mistake, I shouldn't have done that, and try to fix it. And then there's the, no, I'm still in the right, I'm gonna defend this to the death of me, you guys are wrong, I'm right, I don't know what you're talking about, you guys are stupid, right? There's the two routes. He obviously went to this route, and for good reason. Obviously, look at it now. He realized that he made a mistake. Now, he posted a tweet, and it was an apology, and a lot of people were pissed off by the apology. Now, I read this apology, and I wasn't mad. I was like, oh, that's interesting. It was like an apology, but it was also like, it was kind of like a defensive apology. And I tried to put myself in his shoes and realize, like, okay, literally you were like the top dog on the internet, and the internet literally turned against you just like that, because that's how life works, right? Things are going your way, and then all of a sudden they're not going your way. And I can imagine that that's a very difficult thing, especially because I don't think he's had anything like this happen to him, like controversial wise, like this to this extent. So he obviously tried to apologize, and people were talking crap about the apology. It was very narcissistic. He just talked about himself. He put hashtags, he put emojis. I don't really care about any of that. Hashtags, emojis. Everyone puts hashtags and emojis on everything. I can't even judge that, because that's literally what life is now, right? It's like, I can't even talk about that. But as for his apology, now, I feel like I kind of understand where he's coming from in this situation. I think that he was trying to apologize, but didn't really know how to. And I do think that he was trying to, in a way, defend himself of like, put yourself in my shoes. Because if you really did put yourself in his shoes, could you imagine, think back to like when you've made a really big mistake and just imagine 15 million people watching you. I can't imagine that. I honestly cannot imagine that. It blows my mind just even thinking about it. So I feel like that's what he was trying to do. Not a good time to do that. I think that it was just the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't think at that point in time that's the type of apology or that just shouldn't have been the statement that came out at that moment. And then after that, of course, he posted a video. Now, as a Logan Paul fan, who I watch him every day, I watched his apology video, and whether or not he's an actor and he has a team of people who told him what to say, I don't even care. He looked miserable, and he looked like this whole thing has affected him. I know it has. How can it not, right? Again, you're on top of the world, and all of a sudden, you are now just on the deepest part of the ocean. Like, that's what just happened to him. And watching that video that he filmed, it actually made me feel a little bit sad, but that was him, and I feel like he was being raw, and I feel like he was being honest. Now, there's a lot of people who see both of the apologies and they go, no, F you, Logan Paul, that's not real, that's fake. And again, it's up to you as a person whether you want to accept his apology or not. Just like in life, when somebody apologizes, you can say thank you, but I don't accept your apology, and that's fine. So there's people who just don't accept his, but that's fine. That's your prerogative, that's your choice. Now for me as a person, I accept his apology. I think that he took the video down, he put out 2 apologies. He's not sitting here with the video up going, no, I really am trying to prevent suicide, and he's not, he's apologizing. And that's, at this point in time, that's what else can we expect him to do, right? For him as a person, what else do you expect him to do? Now, I think there's things that he could do. He could donate $1 million to an organization that helps people who are dealing with suicide. That could be something that he does to just help people understand that this is a big deal, and he understands how big of a deal this is, and that he is sorry for what he did. So I think there is things that he can do additionally, but at the baseline, he took the video down, he apologized. That's really, I mean, I don't know. I can't expect anything else from him. I don't know. You could sit here, if you're still mad about it, you could sit here and go, what would make you feel better if he left the internet? Because I guarantee you, even if he left the internet, there's going to be 100 other people who become just as famous as he is and make stupid mistakes and do stupid things. That's not his fault. Now, he's the scapegoat, unfortunately for him. He might be the scapegoat of this, and this might affect him specifically. And, he's like the example that you set, where it's like, okay, shame on you, and now we're gonna, I don't know what they're gonna do. Now, I feel like I'm rambling, but my biggest thing moving forward is, what does he do now? Does he learn from his mistakes? And he can say that he did. He can say that he knows he messed up. Anyone can say whatever they want to say, right? I get that. But now it's time for him to show actions. It's time for him to show his words in action. So moving forward, it'll be interesting to see, did he actually learn from his mistake? Does it change the way, I don't expect him to change up his content, but does it change his mindset somewhat, where has it helped mature him, where he understands and has better judgment when he's doing things? So when he's filming, I mean, again, hopefully he doesn't end up filming another dead body, because that would obviously be one of those, like, okay, yeah, this guy's an idiot. And I still think he's a little bit of an idiot, but, is he gonna make a mistake like that again? Or is he gonna learn from mistakes? So that's what I'm interested to see. I have not cut him out of my list of subscribers, and a lot of you guys, again, might be mad about that, but for me, again, I believe in second chances. Now, a good example of this is Jake Paul. I used to watch his brother Jake Paul every day as well, and Jake started making these really interesting videos. He started making mistakes, and he was weirdly not taking responsibility for the mistakes. He was just trying to blame others. He was putting out more videos that was just blaming others. He was trying to make videos about bullying, but he was bullying people. It was really strange to me, and it happened so many times. I was like, okay, you're not understanding how this works. You're not learning any lessons from this. You are just, like, fame has gotten to you to the point where you can't even understand. I don't watch Jake Paul anymore. He's just not somebody that I just don't, like, when I watch him, it's just not somebody that I connect with. I think that he's young and rich and immature just as well, and I don't agree with a lot of the decisions that he's made. Now with Logan, I've always felt like he's actually a lot more mature than his brother Jake. Now, he still obviously made this mistake and it wasn't good, but in general, I feel like he usually makes better decisions than his brother Jake. And, again, he took the video down and he is telling people, don't defend me, and it's whatever. But again, we'll just see kind of how that plays out. Now, the other argument that I've heard a lot of people talk about is, we can't believe he posted this video for all these kids to see, okay? His fan base is very young kids. He didn't ask for that. I think that's just what happened, and sucks for him. I'm glad that my fan base is a lot older, because I wouldn't want that pressure of having only 10 and 11-year-olds watching me, and that's like my main fan base. I'm glad that I have adults watching me. I do understand that putting videos on YouTube, I have kids that still watch me. I have, the adults that watch me have kids that will watch me, and I also have kids from my work who have found my channel. And so I always keep that in the back of my mind, and I don't cuss in my videos, and I try to keep it family friendly. Hence why you haven't seen a wine series on my channel for a while, because I now understand that my channel has gotten to the point where I have kids that are from my work that watch me, and I always question whether or not that's a good example to be setting. So, and it's hard because I know how much you guys like wine series, and I try to tell myself, like, is that what, you know, is it appropriate? Look, what is it? And I don't know yet, and that's why you haven't seen one. So there's that for you. But for Logan Paul, you know, people are just ragging on him about you posting these things for these 10-year-olds to see. And here's what I'm going to say with that. Yes, he's a role model, so he needs to make better decisions. Whether he likes it or not, that's just how it is. Now, he could start posting really mature content if he wants to try to increase his demographic of his viewers. Maybe he doesn't want to be that guy where that 22-year-old guy that 10-year-olds watch. He wants adults to watch him, so maybe he chains up his... I don't know what he's going to do in that sense. But the one thing I'm going to say and I'm not a parent, but working with kids, the one thing I'm going to say is the internet is full of crazy videos. Trust me. Again, I've seen crazy videos, and there's always going to be crazy videos out there. Whether it's Logan Paul, whether it's Jake Paul, there's a million YouTubers out there that are posting inappropriate, crazy content. As much as I want to say, Logan Paul, this is your responsibility to make sure, you know, I think that is unrealistic, and I think some of the responsibility does have to fall on other people. I think it needs to fall on YouTube. I think that YouTube does need to figure out what route it's going and what YouTubers it is trying to support, because you do have a lot of YouTubers who are doing really good things with their power on YouTube. And then you have people like Logan Paul who just post these fun, entertaining videos, sometimes pranks, sometimes, you know, it's out there. And you have all these other, like, you have prank channels who are just doing like crazy things. So I think that's one of the things, is that what route is YouTube going in at this point? The other responsibility part of this, I feel like, is parents. And I know there's some people who put out videos now talking about this, but I do feel like there is some responsibility on parents. Parents, you should understand and know what your kids are watching and who they're supporting. And I know parents don't want to be the bad guys here, but if you feel like Logan Paul is that dangerous, then you should not allow your kids to watch Logan Paul. Because again, whether it's Logan Paul or Jake Paul or anybody else, there's a ton of things on the internet. Like, I really do think that it's up to parents to step in and to understand, what are your kids doing on the internet? And especially now, I can't even like imagine, because nowadays it's like the internet is everywhere. You have phones, you have tablets, you have computers, you have everything. And I can imagine it's very difficult to censor what your kids are watching. But if you want to avoid things like this, that's what it takes. So are you willing to put that effort in? Are you willing to tell your child, no, I do not want you watching Logan Paul. If I catch you watching Logan Paul, then I'm taking your phone away, I'm taking your tablet away, I'm taking your computer, whatever it is that you would, like, are you willing to do that? So I think that's one of the other things, because again, this is bigger than Logan Paul. It's not about Logan Paul. There's so many things out there, and it's up to the adult in that situation to really understand, like, is this something appropriate for my child? The other thing too that I just want to quickly touch base on is people are saying, you know, and I don't agree with I don't agree with the video they posted. I know that he keeps saying that he wanted to, you know, suicide awareness. It obviously was not that was not at all the right way to promote suicide awareness in a positive and appropriate manner. But I think this is also a good time for parents to be able to, you know, I saw this video, Keemstar posted a video, it got taken down, but he showed this video of this kid who was crying because he felt bad for this man who had taken his own life. And he started getting sad about other people who, you know, their life is so bad that they feel like they have to commit suicide. And he was crying. And, you know, Keemstar was trying to use like, look at what you did to this kid, look at you. And the thing about it is that suicide is a real thing. It is a real thing. And eventually kids, whether they're 10 or 11 or 15 or 16 or 18 or 25, eventually they're gonna learn about suicide. Something's gonna happen and they're going to hear about it or learn about it. And, you know, obviously Logan Paul is not suitable to be teaching kids about suicide. And I think that's another place where parents can step in and have that conversation with your child and talk about it. Talk about what suicide is and reasons for why people get to that point, and also the best ways to handle that if you're ever in that situation, whether if it's a child who feels that way or if they have friends that feel that way, because it's a serious thing. It's a real thing. And one of the things that if I had to take a positive out of this whole situation, it's to realize that these things are real and eventually kids are going to find out about them. And the question is, how do you want them to find out about it? You know, there's parents who want to shelter their kids from learning about all this stuff. And I do agree that there's certain ages that I think it is appropriate for kids to learn about that stuff. But if you're going to let your kid just free on the internet watching whatever they want on YouTube, then that's another thing that you should consider, is that at what point should kids be able to just freely roam the internet, right? Because they're going to stumble upon suicide. They're going to stumble upon alcoholism and overdosing and drunk driving and just things that happen in life. And as a parent, I feel like you really have to be ready to have that conversation and make sure you're teaching your kids, you know, about all these things so that it doesn't just hit them in the face one day in a Logan Paul video where they're like, what is that? I don't even understand. You know, I just think that there's a lesson to be learned here from everyone of, if you don't want your kids stumbling upon a video like Logan Paul's and going, oh my God, suicide, what is that? Oh my God, that makes me so sad. Have those conversations with your kids. Sit down with your kids, connect with them, and have that conversation with them, and let them learn those really serious topics from you and not just from some random guy on the internet. So I think the main question is, what happens now? Realistically, if I'm being 100% honest, I feel like, as with everything that happens on the internet nowadays, it is a big deal now, and probably 2 weeks from now, it's not going to be a big deal. And unfortunately, that is the way that things are. It's weird. The world is really strange. These things happen and they hit us so hard, and then all of a sudden it's just like no one cares about it. I hope that this does stay a topic of conversation when it comes to YouTube and appropriate videos and how YouTube is handling that. I do hope that there is some kind of consequence for Logan Paul, because the consequence of a mistake is what helps us understand the mistake and understand what can happen from that mistake. That I think that the purpose of consequences is to teach us a lesson and to teach us like, hey, if you do this, then this is what's A plus B equals C, and that's what happens. And so I do hope there's a consequence for him. What is it? I don't know. People are like, delete his YouTube channel. I think that's really harsh, and I don't believe that that is a good consequence. But, you know, I've heard things like they can put a strike on his channel, and, you know, for 3 months he can't monetize his channel. I don't even know. I mean, I think there's things that they can do, and I hope that YouTube does something, but honestly, I'm not going to hold my breath about it, because let's be real, they've put so many resources into Logan Paul. Like, he's in one of their TV shows, he's in their movie. Like, I think a good consequence would be them cutting out the movie. I think he just filmed The Thinning too. Maybe they say, you know what, this movie's done. Is YouTube willing to throw away that money they just spent? I don't know. I don't think they are, but that would be a good consequence. He worked really hard on that, as did everyone else, but I think that would be a good slap in the face for him to say, hey, you messed up. And because of that, not only did you mess this up for you messed it up for everyone else that's in that movie. And that would be a real consequence I feel like would hit him really hard. Or even if they just reshot the movie and took him out of it. That would be another good way to help teach him a lesson on why, he's really got to have better judgment than he had. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. Luckily, I'm not in charge of making up consequences for YouTubers who post inappropriate things. That's not my job, but hopefully there's something done. I thought about one thing that I wanted to make a comment about. There's a lot of people who are like, yeah, I can't believe he did that. I can't, like, he, not only did he see it, film it, and edit it, he posted it. So how come he didn't at any point go, hey, this is not a good idea? And the one thing about that is I've learned in my life that people view things a certain way and they think that that is the right way. And it doesn't matter at what point they are in the process. If they think that's the right way, they think that's the right way. And sometimes it takes something like this to happen for them to go, oh, that's not the right way. And I think that's what happened in this situation, is that unfortunately, I don't think he really thought that this was a bad idea, and he filmed it and he edited it and he posted it, and at no point did it dawn on him that that was a bad idea until, of course, the response that he got. And now, of course, he's like, oh yeah, that was not a good idea, and now he's learned from it. And I know that sounds so weird, but it's about perception and our own personal bias and our own viewpoints on things, because, you know, I've had situations where somebody's like, this is really great. And I'm like, oh, really? And then you go to and you're like, okay, that's not great. Like, why would they think it? But in their mind, they're really like, wow, this is great. And you're like, that's not great. Like, that's not good. And it's this weird, like, thing that I've witnessed this so much at work, where it's just people have a different viewpoint on things. And now Logan Paul knows that that was not a good idea, and he will most likely never do it again. Hopefully he doesn't ever. I can't imagine that he would ever do anything like that ever again. But that is, you know, now he has that viewpoint where he goes, okay, yeah, this was wrong, right? That's how you learn right from wrong. If you grow up and this has been right your whole life because everyone keeps telling you it's right, and then you go into the bigger part of the world and everyone's going, no, this is wrong. That's, you know, that's the point in your life that you start to understand right from wrong based off of the overall society viewpoint of things. It's very difficult, and one way to think about that is, even in our world today, even in politics today, we have a president who does things, and I feel like the whole world is looking at this guy going, that's not right, but in his mind, it's so right, and he's willing to fight for that, and you have people who are willing to fight for him for that, and it's like, it blows my mind, like, wow, how is this guy continuously doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and it's like, he's still there, you know, and that's the thing, it's like, these people, they think that they are right, they honestly, truly believe that what they're doing is right, and it's crazy to me, but I understand that, there's people in the world. So again, if Logan Paul were to sit here and be like, no, posting that dead body was right, it wasn't wrong, it was fine, it was okay, then yes, I would have a huge problem with that, and most likely I wouldn't want to support him anymore, but he didn't say that. He took it down and said that was wrong. So again, actions speak louder than words, and we'll see what happens in the future and where he goes from here, but I don't know. I am not ready to say, yeah, down with Logan Paul and give me some fire and I'm going to burn him at the stake too. I'm not ready to do that whatsoever. And I am interested to see how this plays out and how this changes him as a person. And hopefully this is one of those things that he can turn into a positive life lesson of, okay, this is what not to do, and this is how not to handle things, and this is, you know, to understand that money doesn't trump making poor decisions in that sense. I don't know. There's a lot of things that go into it, but that's my take on it. I can't tell you one way or the other. That's just my feeling on it. Again, I'm just very interested to see how this plays out, and all I can say is hopefully this has made him a better person, and if not, and then like I know eventually if he continues to do things like this, I know as a person, just like with Jake Paul, I'll be like, oh no, I don't want to watch this guy anymore. I just can't watch him anymore, and then, you know, that happens. But I'm not going to stop watching him just because people keep telling me like, oh, you know, and people can yell at me all they want. That's just, there's nothing I can say about that. I mean, if you disagree with me so much that you don't want to support me on my channel, I completely understand that. I hope that's not the case, because I'm just trying to be honest with you guys. But I didn't even want to make this video. I don't like to talk about things like this, but it's a real thing and it's out there and it's happening, and hopefully all of us learn from it, and hopefully it helps all of us make better decisions. All right, guys, I think this video is long enough. I just want to say a big thank you to all of you, if you're still watching this video, thank you so much for supporting me and supporting my channel. And I hope to be able to entertain you in a fun, safe, and family-friendly way this year of 2018. And I wish all of you guys a happy new year, and I hope that you guys have a fun, safe, and hopefully mistake-free year. But we all make mistakes, so I hope if you make a mistake that it's not too bad and that you can learn from it. All right, guys, have a great day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!